Hello, everyone. You're listening to Is This Thing On? Welcome back, everyone. Or hi. Hey, it's Eva. Welcome if you're new here. This is my podcast where we decide to take a 3-week hiatus because we got very, very busy. And that's my life. That is my life, guys. I'm a teacher. I'm always lesson planning. My life is always busy. I am filming this recording this at 11:35 in the evening on Sunday night. So right before this is about to go live on Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Um so yeah, I should be asleep. I should be getting things ready for tomorrow, but procrastination is what's happening right now. So, yeah. I was going to say I'm sorry for not posting for nearly 3 weeks. Happy New Year. We're almost through with January. We have about a week left of January, and then we're going into February. How freaking insane is that? That our concept of time and just time in general, it moves incredibly quick. Like, it amazes me how we had literally just started January and now we are basically in February. We're about a week away from February. That's insane. But nonetheless, welcome back, everybody. Or welcome back to me, your host, Eva, Lynette. Yeah, I have many names, guys, and y'all know that. Whoever has stuck by and listened to this podcast from the bottom of my heart, I know I always say this, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is a pleasure to sit down and record these episodes. I almost didn't post this episode because, so here's the thing, and I say this every single episode, and every time I take a little hiatus, I'll be honest, sometimes I don't mean to take a hiatus. It just kind of happens. In this case, I didn't mean to take a hiatus. It just kind of happened because I've been so busy since we started this year. I've been on the go, 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 go. And so, like, I've just been just going and going and going, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Jellybean? And so, yeah, I haven't really had time to sit down and like record an episode. There's times where I could have. But, anyways, we're not going to get into it. That's all semantics, okay? So, last we were on this, you know, um, platform that I have. What were we talking about last time? Because frankly, I can't quite remember. Let me. Oh my goodness, am I literally doing this? I am looking up what my last episode was about because my gosh, I cannot for the life of me recall what 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 it is. Oh yes. Okay, so the last episode that we did was in the last week of December, a few days before the new year, to be exact. And I think we left off on the topic of me taking a hold of my mental health. And that's literally I think what I titled the episode. Yes, it's called Taking a Hold of My Mental Health. Um by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, but if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, is there an interactive feature on there where I posted a question, and basically the question that I posted for that episode, if you listen to it on Spotify, this is for my Spotify listeners, you can actually interact with it. You can post a response back to the question I posted, but it's only exclusive to Spotify listeners, I believe. I don't know if Apple has this feature, Podcasts or Google Podcasts. I don't think it does, but basically the question was, what is your pursuit of happiness? Because I think I asked that at the end of the episode. That's kind of like what I concluded the segment with. So anyways, interact with that if you wish, if you want to, for all my Spotify listeners. If not, whatever. You do you, boo boo. Anyways, so last that we were on here, I was talking about taking a hold of my mental health. Well, ladies and gents, she's done it. She's really, 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 really done it this time. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean that in an absolutely amazing way. So let's do a little life update, little life recap, because I feel like, you know, it's been a few weeks. Y'all don't know what's in the loop in my life unless you guys hang out with me personally. And again, shout out to all my friends that listen to this and people that know me that I'm not friends with, but you somehow stumbled across this podcast for I don't know. Maybe you were bored. Anyways, so life recap, okay. So we are now in a new year, obviously. Um what else was I gonna say? Um whew. Um so I am back. We got back from winter break. I've been now back in school with my students in the classroom. About this week coming up is going to be the fourth week. I think it was the third week last week, and now it's the fourth week. So we've been back almost a month um from school. My little break was kind of brief. It was 2 weeks. It felt long, but it also felt very, very, very brief. Um it went by quick. Um didn't really do much over the break. So now I'm just looking forward to spring break. Which, before you know it, that's gonna be rolling around the corner. Um, that's all I gotta say. I mean, time goes by so quickly. Anyways, so we've been back in the classroom now. Your girl, me, the host of this podcast, has been killing it at work in a good way. Um, I've been just on top of it, on top of my lesson planning, on top of just I feel like everything. I'm I'm blossoming. I'm excelling at my work, at my job. And I love it, and I'm so grateful to the Lord Jesus Christ that he has given me the strength and the perseverance to keep going, because a few months back, or when I first started this new endeavor, being a teacher back in August, because this is my first real year teaching. I've had experience in education before, but never like actual teaching. And so I was very, very stressed out about lesson plans. Now I've kind of mastered them. And it's only been by the grace of God that I've mastered them, that I've gotten into a routine. I have found my niche in lesson planning, I guess you could say. It's become very, 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 very easy for me to lesson plan. Um, I get ahead by 2 weeks. Last week I finished lesson planning for the rest of this month, for the rest of January, which is kind of a little pointless because considering the fact that January is basically already over. But the good thing is I don't have to worry about my lesson plans for this week. So that's amazing, right? Um the other thing that I've been wanting to bring up, cuz we did talk about last episode, right? That I was going to take a hold of my mental health, and I did. I absolutely did. I now, drum roll please. How do I do it? I wish I could have. Just pretend that there's a drum roll. Okay, guys, I have a therapist now. I have a therapist. You heard that right. Remember the days that I used to talk on here of the days that I dreamed about getting a therapist because I really, really, really wanted to take my mental health into my own hands. Well, your girl did it. I did it. I did the big girl thing and I got a therapist. Um Took some finding, but we did it. We did it. Lo hicimos. We did it. I'm sorry. Um, how? How did this all come about? How did I make it happen? How did we go? Okay. Let's walk through the process. So, as you know, I may have already talked about this in the previous podcast episode. If I didn't, then this is new information. If I did, or if you're curious, just go back one episode. Go back to the latest podcast episode that's on there. And I briefly talk about how it is I'm going to take a hold of my mental health. Anyways, I remember reminiscing on the days of this podcast when I used to talk about how I have wanted to get a therapist forever. And so I finally did it. And I did it because there really wasn't any more excuses for me to be made because of my job. I have I have health insurance. So I'm able to go to the doctor and it's not costing me an arm and a leg, which is amazing. Um I'm very, very blessed and grateful to have the job that I have that allows me to have these opportunities to use to go to the doctor when I'm feeling ill and whatnot. So I finally, put on my big girl pants and I called my insurance company and I was on the phone with them and I was like, hey, I am new to health insurance because I am. I've never had health insurance in my life up until this point. And I was like, hey, can I get a list of psychologists, therapists in my area that are covered under this insurance? I'm sorry, I was yawning. This insurance, right? And and so I did. I did that. And they gave me a list. They were very kind enough to send me a bunch of um specialists, psychologists in my area, therapists, behavioral analysts in my area, because that's specifically what I asked for. I asked for psychologists um, in my area that I could go to. And I've been wanting to see a therapist in person, but because we are still in a in a pandemic, it's been increasingly difficult to find a therapist that would like to meet up in person, you know? So, and also, I work 5 days a week. I work Monday through Friday from like 7 in the morning all the way to like almost 5 o'clock, 4:30, 4:15 in the afternoon. So that's about 8 hours, right? I have a 9 to 5, 8 hour job. All right. And so it makes it very, very difficult for me to go see someone during the week at a reasonable hour because most offices by 5 o'clock are closed, right? And so I was like, well, I don't think I could really do therapy during the week, during my work week. It'd be very, very hard. So I had called a few therapists' office. I had gotten on a wait list for one of them, for two of them actually. One of them was going to be in February, and I was going to get a psychological evaluation done because I've never been screened for depression or anxiety or any of that. I still want to do it, but we'll see what my new therapist tells me. Because I just started with her, and also that's the thing. So this is leading up to how I got my new therapist, how I got my therapist. Um, the other therapist office, they called me, same thing. Hey, we're on a wait. We're gonna put you on a wait list, but the psychologist is taking new patients. I was like, okay, fine, it's okay, I can wait. Um, so turns out the other psychologist, um, was taking a new client. I mean, they were both taking in new patients, And but the other office called me first, and they told me, "Hey, um this doctor has availability. Do you want to schedule an appointment?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Like, I've been dying to do it. So, I have been going now to therapy for the last 3 weeks. Mhm. Yes, 3 weeks. This week was my 3rd session with my therapist, and she's great. I mean, I'm still getting to know her. She's still getting to know me. It's only been our 3rd session. We've already talked about a lot um that obviously I want to accomplish and get done. A lot of it is self-esteem related and all that stuff, and we're going to definitely work on that. I took a personality inventory assessment. I finally sat down and did it yesterday. Instead of my lesson planning. I did do some lesson planning, not just all of it. I didn't get everything done, but it's okay. I'm giving myself grace, and I'm learning to give myself grace because I can become a workaholic and I want to get everything done in one go. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being proactive and wanting to get things done. The problem is giving yourself that time to be mindful and to be restful. And that's what I need sometimes because I often find myself getting lost in thought, and then my thoughts become very scattered. I become very scattered brain to where I can't get out a cohesive idea. And so, we need to give ourselves grace even when we want to get things done, and even when we know that there's things to be done. Um, as much as we want to get them done, we also just need to rest sometimes. And so uh yesterday, I gave myself some grace. I was literally at a coffee shop the entire day because that's where I've been having my sessions. I will drive to my favorite coffee shop in town. I'll sit down. My therapy sessions with my therapist are at are on Saturdays at 10 in the morning, which is a good time. It's not too early. I mean, do I typically sleep in on weekends? Yes, I do. But now I am an early bird on weekends because I look forward to my therapy sessions. And so I'll drive to my favorite coffee shop. I'll set up my computer because my therapy sessions are virtual, and I'll sit there and I'll have my session with my therapist. And then after my session with my therapist, I've made it a um, lesson planning day to where I'll sit down and I'll get a cup of coffee. I'll get a coffee, and then I'll lesson plan for the next 2 weeks. Um, I'll do my lesson plans for the next 2 weeks. To get it out of the way, to get it done, and all that stuff. But yesterday I was a little bit distracted because I um I was on TikTok, I was on social media, and then also just I took my this personality inventory assessment, which at some point I think I'm gonna go over it with my therapist. I have to call my therapist office and be like, "Hey, I finished it." That thing was long. It was like 344 questions. It's massively long. But I'm sure it's gonna help me a lot in our session, and we're gonna go over it. So that's gonna be exciting. I'm excited to know more about myself. I mean, who isn't? We're all like self-absorbed and self-obsessed. And I hate saying that, but it's true. Like at the end of the day, you got you and it's only you. So it's good to be comfortable with ourselves. And I don't mean to be complacent, but to be comfortable, okay? In knowing who we are. But knowing that we can change parts of ourselves and we are meant to change and evolve and grow. I think that's the lesson that a lot of people seem to miss, is that as humans, as people, we're not meant to stay stagnant. We're not meant to just, I guess, be complacent. And because once we get, I think I've mentioned this before in previous episodes, but once we get to a place of stagnation, a place of complacency where we feel like we're okay, I think it is a lot harder to change or want to change stuff about ourselves that we know we need to change deep down inside, but we're like running away from that and avoiding it and procrastinating it by deciding to be complacent. And, sometimes we do it on purpose and sometimes we don't. Um, but I think if you find that you are too comfortable where you're at, then I think it's important to do something to like switch it up or add something, some element of excitement. I think that's where a lot of I think that's I think that's why a lot of relationships fail, because at the beginning, when you're starting off, and I'm not just saying this for romantic relationships, but I mean, it could be mostly implied towards romantic relationships. But at the beginning of anything, right, you have this excitement, this anticipation, this zeal, this joy for whatever it is you are trying to accomplish. Let's just say you're trying to get into a relationship, right? You are getting over the talking stages of this relationship and you are finally going to go on a date with this person, right? Um, right? So you go on this date, right? First date. You got the first date jitters, right? You're getting ready, you're doing your thing, you're doing everything, right? And so that's that's all exciting, right? Because you don't know, w- like there's an element of mystery because you don't know what's going to happen. And so there's anticipation, there's buildup, there's this air of mystery. And I think I've already said that. But anyways, there's this excitement, there's this buildup, right? And you're excited to embark on this, right? And so you go on the day goes fine, goes amazing. And then you keep going on those dates, you keep going on those dates, and then eventually you decide to define the relationship, right? Then you define the relationship, and then you're officially dating, right? So now you're dating, right? And you've been dating now for a while, let's say 6 7 months down the line, a year down the line, right? After I think the 6 month mark, I think we tend to get pretty comfortable, right? Things become almost second nature, habitual. And it only takes about 2 weeks for the human brain, human, yeah, the average human, it only takes about 2 weeks to build a habit, right? So after those 6 months, like you really, really get to know the person, you get to know their habits, their idiosyncrasies. Wait, idiosyncrasy, is that even a word? Idiosyncrasies. Give me a second. My brain is glitching, and it's because it's almost midnight. Idiosyncra No. Idio idiosyncrasies. That's what it is. And the definition is a mode of behavior or way of thought of a mode of behavior, a way of thought peculiar to an individual. Idiosyncrasies. Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but basically, after like 6 months, 3 months, the first 3 months, I would say, of a relationship, they're like the honeymoon phase. You're like all lovey dovey, like this is brand new. The dopamine, the adrenaline is rushing in, the oxytocin is is permeating through your bloodstream. All the good, happy, feel good hormones, the dopamine, everything is coursing through your veins. It's coursing through this relationship, right? You are in love, you are thriving, you are just, right? After about the 6 month mark, right? You start to get comfortable, right? You start to, you know, really like this person by this point, you're getting comfortable, right? And then about the 1 year mark, I think most people by 1 year of dating are pretty comfortable in their relationship, right? And so this is where things can get a little bit stagnant, right? Because and the reason I think a lot of us experience stagnation in our life is because we've done something that feels very familiar to us, right? And after doing something that is incredibly familiar, like almost like a routine, right? Once you do that routine over and over and over and over again, after a long while, it's like it like becomes second nature. And so that in a relationship that could that can happen in the form of stagnation. You could be so comfortable in your relationship that you reach a point where this is what you don't want to happen. But you reach a point where you're stagnant and you feel like you and this person are no longer growing, right? And that's bad because, we want to grow. We want to build each other up in a relationship. We want to be the best version of ourselves, right? So with anything, I don't think we ever want to get to that point, because if we get to that point, we are not growing, we're not learning, we are not looking further out into what else could we be doing with our life. However, now I will say this. If you're very happy where you're at in your life, even though it is a period of stagnation, but you're happy and you feel like you're thriving and you're doing good, you're doing okay, then I think it's okay to stay there. But again, I don't think we ever want to stay in the same spot that we're in our entire lives, because then towards the end of our lives, we're going to be left with that what if question, right? And a bunch of what if questions. It's going to be like, well, what if I had done this differently? What if I had done that? What if I had done this? What if I had done that? And we never want to have those what if questions, because what ifs don't exist. And so we got to live in the now, and we can't prepare truly for what's to come, right? I think we got to just take everything in stride and just prepare for the now. Prepare for the now, right? I think that's all we can really do sometimes. So what was my point of saying and doing all this is that I hope to learn so much about myself um as I'm doing my therapy sessions with my therapist. She is a good fit for me. She's very to the point, and she's she's been analyzing me a lot. Obviously, that's her job. um, but there's a lot of topics I'm gonna tackle in my sessions, and I'm super excited for that. And as they progress, I'm excited to give you guys advice on these things. Maybe at one point I can have her be on the podcast. That I think that'd be so exciting to have my therapist on the podcast. Anyways, guys, Anchor only lets me record about 30 minutes and then I have to restart the recording. Anyways, as I was saying, I am incredibly excited for all the therapy sessions I'm going to have with my therapist. There's a lot of good stuff we're covering so far. I think our next session will probably do like this personality inventory thing, right? And that's something we'll probably go over. I think it's like a test that measures like traits about your personality. So I'm excited to get to know myself more because, like I said, it's always good to know yourself more. It's always good to learn and grow and evolve and not stay in a period of stagnation because that can cause us to be lazy and we don't want to be lazy, right? Although there's times this is all going to seem very what's the word? Paradoxical of me to say all this, but there is a time where we could be lazy and we could be resting, and there's a time where we need to be productive and innovative and pushing out all this creative flow. But there's also times where it's okay to just sit back and do nothing. And so this weekend I just kind of decided that I wasn't gonna work that much. I was like, no, you know what? It's okay. You were proactive last week. You finished planning for the rest of the month. Give yourself a break. You're okay. And so I may have not finished lesson planning, but I did get to talk to some very nice people that I met at the coffee shop. They were great. They were visiting the town. They had asked me what was the thing to do here. And, I'm a townie. I've lived here my whole life. And I'm not the best person to ask because I don't really do that much. Um I do go out with my friends. We do go out, but we go to the same places, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Um right? But I was probably the wrong person to ask. Cuz I get comfortable in where I go and I just end up going to the same places, which is fine. Again, we are creatures of habits. Habit, habit. We are creatures of habit, so it's perfectly okay to do that. But it's also perfectly okay to want to switch it up and do something else. But, anyways, that is the major life update that I've been wanting to put on here. I have a therapist now. Um, I know it's only the third session, but I feel so good, guys. Like, this is the best I have felt about myself in a long, long time. And I've had a lot of my friends cheer me on and they're happy for me. And all I can say is thank you guys for sticking by me because back in November, December, I was really going through it. I really, really was. I was not in the best state of mind. It wasn't anything severe. I will say that. Like, thankfully, it's never been anything severe. But I'm a big advocate for this, and I'll say this: if your mental health ever gets so debilitating, please, 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 please talk to your therapist, but also make sure that you have a trusted person in your circle. And if need be, if it's an emergency, please call 911. I can't stress that enough that if you are going through something so debilitating, if you are contemplating your life, please call 911. I'm just going to encourage that. And I will put the crisis hotline below in the description box. And I'll put mental health resources as always. But yeah, I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, I really was going through it, and but I can say now that I feel really good, guys. I don't know what to say except that I'm excited for this year. It's gonna sound very, very corny. I'm excited. Uh, I feel very um joyful, more joyful than I have felt in a long, long, long time. Um, I'm excited for what is gonna be happening in therapy, for all the breakthroughs I'm gonna make. I'm also just excited for everything that God has in store for me. And it's only by His grace that I have been able to to sit here in my bedroom recording this episode and talking to you guys so honestly, because that's the thing that's the thing that I had so much trouble reconciling with, is vulnerability, like letting myself be vulnerable for people. I don't think it's anything to hide. I think if anything, it makes us stronger when we're vulnerable, when we're able to be very, very honest about what we're going through. And now I don't feel like I have to hide anything from anyone. If I'm going through it, I'll tell people that I'm going through it. And if I'm sad, I will say that I'm sad. If I'm angry, I'll say I'm angry. I don't really feel the need to hide it. However, though, my therapist pointed this out, and she's right. I think in the last session, and even in this session, she said that I um I tend to separate my feelings from myself, and I tend to negate my feelings. And she's right in that regard, because for so long I didn't want to acknowledge that I was feeling a certain way. And it's almost like I felt this huge amount of shame for feeling sad, for feeling lonely, for feeling like there was a massive void in my life. And okay, I guess I'll disclose this because, it's my platform, and I want to help and encourage people, and I want everybody to know on here that this is a safe space. And yeah, I want you guys to be able to relate to what I'm going through, or relate to just something in whatever capacity that may be. But um yeah, she said that I was negating my feelings, and she just encouraged me to stop doing that, to because I told her that I think we can all agree, attest to this, that for a long time, and I've talked about this on the podcast, that I've wanted to be in a relationship. I've wanted to date someone. And I brought up the subject of dating in my session yesterday with her, in our third session. I said, "Hey, I would like to put myself out there. I want to date someone." And I told her, like, I've even asked my friends, like, if they think that I'm ready for dating. And they said, um my friends told me that they don't think I'm ready for dating. And the main response I got back was that I needed to work on myself. And so I told my therapist this. And she made a little face, and she said, "No, I completely disagree with all this." And I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Because you can still be in a relationship and still be working on yourself. And the fact of the matter is, and this is all very simple and practical stuff, I think, but I think it's useful to hear it from time to time. Um, I simply put, we are never going to be all together as people. Never. Ever, 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 ever. Right? And so, you know, uh, by trying to make ourselves perfect, which we're never going to reach, we're almost like limiting our possibilities, limiting ourselves as individuals, right? And she didn't say this. She said that there's no point in being perfect. I'm just adding to this. But she was absolutely right. You can get into a relationship, you can date someone and still be working on yourself. In fact, you should. Just because you get into a relationship doesn't mean your growth and your improvement as a person stops there. Because if it does stop there, that person that you're getting to know, that you're getting to date, is eventually going to catch on to those patterns of behavior that you have, and they may or may not like them. So I think it's important to always be improving yourself, improving and trying to be the best version of yourself. And so yeah, she really really did have a point. Like, I don't need to be perfect for anyone. No one can be perfect for me. I can't expect perfection out of someone, and vice versa. And so it got me thinking, like, this gives me hope because for so long I was always told, and I would ask people, and maybe it's stupid to ask people, but they're my friends, and my friends, I value their opinion a lot. And so I would ask them all the time from time to time, like, hey, should I date someone? And a lot of the time they would tell me no, because I need to work on myself. But I'm getting to a good place. And the other thing was that I told my therapist was that this desire that I've been wanting of having a relationship, I've had this desire for, oh my goodness, a long time, probably since I was a teenager. And I'll tell you this much, this is my dating history, little brief overview of it. Um, I never got asked out on a date. I never got, um, I was never sought after. I'm just gonna say that. This is gonna sound sad. And maybe it's not sad, or maybe it is. But don't think I'm trying to gain your sympathy or pity by saying this. So please don't feel sorry for me. But I was never sought after. I was never that girl that got attention from men, from guys, from boys. Um I did want to be in a relationship. I did have crushes on people, on guys, but they were never reciprocated. And obviously that did affect me because I would see all these other girls get into a relationship. And I always thought, oh, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I not getting asked out? Why am I not being sought after? Like, why aren't guys pursuing me, lining up to date me? Why aren't they in for the chase, And that affected me as an adult woman because I just assumed that no guy was going to be into me. Because the way it's always been, at least in my book, at least in my vantage point, viewpoint, whatever you want to call it, even to this day, men don't come up to me and ask me out. Men don't notice me that much. Um, and it could be also too because I'm not really putting myself out there. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very often for me. Again, I'm not saying all this so you guys could be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you, honey." No, no, I don't want pity. It's okay. Do not want pity. Um, but I think that greatly affected me as an adult woman because now that I'm actually like actively trying to get into a relationship, because I've prioritized everything else in my life, and I've sort of pushed back on this desire because One, I didn't think I was worthy of it, and two, I thought I was desiring it too much. And also, I just thought I needed to work on myself a lot, which I already am. And that's the important step. I've acknowledged that I needed mental health help, and I'm getting it. And now I feel so great. I'm not healed, but I'm on the mend. And that's what's important. And I think it's important that I acknowledge all these things and I celebrate these small little victories that I'm having. Um and so, you know, I asked my therapist, like, do you think I should be prioritizing this? Because this is something I've wanted for a long time. She said, yeah, there's no point in you denying yourself this. If you've wanted this for a long time, you should prioritize it. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start prioritizing this because I want it. I would like to be, oh my gosh. Am I gonna start crying? No, no, no. I can't cry. No, no. Um No, that's not right either. No, yes, you can cry. If you need a little cry, you need to cry. Um, I actually did cry this week. But I cried after I saw a rom-com, okay? And just stuff that I was thinking about too, okay? Um, but yeah, I need to prioritize this. I need to be happy. And this if this is the one thing that is keeping me from being happy, I need to pursue it. Um, and I told her that, I told my therapist that it feels like, and maybe I've mentioned this before, and if I have, I'm sorry. I sound like a broken record, and that's fine. But you're still listening to this, so thanks. I've told her that I feel like in my life I'm doing very, very well. I have a good career, I have a good job, I'm doing fairly well in every aspect of my life except the dating part, the relationship part. And I want to do well in this aspect because I would love to be married. I would love to start a family and have children. Obviously not right now. I still think of myself as a baby. Even though I'm not a baby, I'm gonna be 25 in 2 months. Oh man, that's crazy to think about. I'm gonna be have a s- I'm gonna be a quarter of a century. Oh my god. Okay, guys, I kind of want to cry. um, yeah, it's so. Oh my god, that's crazy. But I would like to be married. I would like to be dating someone seriously. I would like to have someone think about me. And I'm sure there's people out there that think about me. Uh, but I would like that to come into fruition. And so I'm going to make the effort to put myself out there. I'm going to try. Okay. I'm a very busy person and I don't quite know how to put myself out there, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to try because I want to do this. And I've been pushing it back and pushing it back. And I'm a workaholic. And, you know, the other thing, you guys are going to laugh. The other thing that my therapist told me about when I mentioned all this to her, she said, and I quote, that I have too many dating rules. And she told me the story about how she met her husband, and it was really, really cute. Um, and she basically said that if she had had as many rules as I did, she would not be married. She would still be single. She would not be married for 30 something years. And so she said that when she met her husband, that he was basically the opposite of everything she wanted. But that she's incredibly happy and she's been incredibly happy for the last 30 years. 31 years. And so that got me thinking, like, yes, I need to keep my standards. My standards are important. My values are important. But everything else, all these rules that I've like kind of like set up, I need to get rid of them. I kind of need to get rid of them because how can I like like how can I can't expect Mr. Perfect to waltz in through that door cuz he doesn't exist. And I am not Miss Perfect. Nowhere near it. I can't expect that. But I do want someone that meets me in the middle, that meets me where I need to be met. And so I'm going to stop neglecting my feelings. I'm going to acknowledge how I feel. Negating my feelings. That's the term she used. I'm going to stop separating my feelings from myself because I am a person. I do have feelings. I need to acknowledge those feelings because when I don't acknowledge them, they just pile up and bottle up, and that's not good. So, address your feelings. Don't compartmentalize them because before you know it, they will blow up right in your face. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna do this. I don't again I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I would like to meet someone organically, and what I mean by that is like in person. Like, okay, I'll be honest right now, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm on 2 dating apps right now. I'm on Bumble and I'm on Hinge. But I think I'm gonna delete them because I don't like them. I don't like the dating apps. I think I mean, some people have success on there and they'll meet people on there and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I don't think I want to like pursue someone like online on a dating app. Again, I have nothing against it. It's just that it's not for me. And I got it because I thought it could help, but I don't want to be in a dating app. Um, I want to meet someone in a coffee shop or at church or just out and about on a walk or something. Like that would be so cute. But who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Um, so yeah. Um, what else? Ooh, my mic almost fell. Oh no. Um, yeah. I I don't know what else to say, guys. I'm excited to take you guys on this journey of self-discovery. Um, I'll keep filling you guys in on my therapy sessions. I keep saying I'm going to take notes during my session, but it just goes by so quickly that it's hard for me to sit there and like take notes on it. But I'm going to try to do it because I think it would be very, very helpful. And also, I can like give you guys little advice and little tidbits at the end of each of my sessions. You know, I can write them down in a notepad and then share them with you guys on the podcast. You know, but yeah, she's got a therapist now, and I didn't make any resolutions this year, but I do have one. I know that's contradictory. Like you just said, you don't have any resolutions, but you have one. Okay, I'm not gonna call it a resolution per se. I'm just gonna say it's a goal. My goal for this year, and I think for every day of my life, is I would love to be the most healthy, physically, spiritually, psychologically that I've ever been. That is my goal. for this year and for the rest of my life. I don't want to stop growing as a person. I want to keep evolving. I want to keep letting God mold me and shape me into who I'm supposed to be. And I want to keep going to therapy. And hopefully it'll all work out like it's supposed to. I have faith in God that it will. I also have faith in my therapist that she will help me a lot through this process. And I'm excited, man. I want to cry like happy tears right now, but probably shouldn't because I'm about to go to sleep. But anyways, that's all I have for this episode, guys. That's all I have at the moment. So as always, guys can call the podcast number, leave me a voicemail, a suggestion on anything you want me to talk about on the podcast. If you want to be on the podcast, this is the number to call. It's 956-278-0720. 956-278-0720. One more time, 956-278-0720. I'll be honest, I don't know if this number still works because I was told by someone that they said it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, I will get back on it and fix it because it is a Google Voice number. And I'm not quite sure how Google Voice numbers work. But yeah, I'll fix it if it doesn't work. As always, you can also email the podcast for any inquiries. If you are a brand and you want to work with me for any business inquiries, the email will be below. Um, let's see, what else? I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're having a beautiful morning, day, or night. I I hope we just all have an amazing year. I'm excited to keep talking about this journey of self discovery that I'm going to go on, this journey of health and wellness. And I'm excited for my mental health to just get even better than it already is because I feel so good, guys. I can't express how good I feel. Um, I don't know what else to say. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm productive. Um, New music is on the horizon. I'm just gonna say that. I've been writing on and off here and there. Um, I have enough songs written to be a full length album. And I'm actually really proud of that because I had told myself last year that I was going to write an album. And I basically did. Um, I can't give you a date as to when that album will be finished because here's the thing. I'm an independent artist. I don't play any instruments. Um, I just sing and I write, and I would have to meet with like a studio and book a studio session and get those things recorded and all that stuff. And so I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna try to teach myself how to mix stuff up so that I can release something because trust me, I have been wanting to release music for a long time now. And I have a few songs that I think could be released as singles. But I've been trying to figure out how to do it because I am a perfectionist and I want something to come out, but I want to believe in it fully before I let it out into the world. So, yes, new music at some point in this year, I will release a song. And my podcast will be the first ones to hear it. Then shortly after that, I'll release it on Spotify, on my YouTube channel, and everywhere. But for now, I'm going to be working more on that, writing more songs. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited, you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you guys for listening. For the few that are still listening, for the few that have stumbled upon this podcast, hi, welcome. I'm excited for you guys to be on this journey with me. I love you all. I'm very, very grateful to everyone that listens to this, and I pray you go forth, prosper, and God bless. Bye, guys.